This is Ben Jordan, and you're listening to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
For those who don't know, now you know, baby. This is Hot Rod Biggs, Jared, Jimmy Street. We're going to take them to the limit one more time, baby, right here on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one more time to the Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling podcast, and I am here as always with my brother from the same father and mother, the Plastic Sheik, Jared Street. What's up, Sheik? How you doing?
I'm doing great, brother. But on an episode like today, you know what I had to bring with me, don't you? I had to bring some charisma.
Of course you did, because today is This Month in Wrestling History with Quinton Quarisma Part 5. Quinton, how you doing, bro? You doing all right, man?
I'm doing good. How y'all guys doing?
Living the dream,
great, man.
brother.
I'm doing great.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you know, today is This Month in Wrestling History with Quinton Quarisma Part 5, and you're covering November today.
Yep.
Awesome. I'm excited. Now, of course, we know November's a big month for you and I and so many others, but obviously it's been a big month for wrestling, I'm assuming, and I can't wait to learn all about that today. Before we get to that, though, let's go ahead and cover some business real quick here. So obviously last week we had the very awesome, and we're receiving a lot of cool responses about this one, the one and only Sick Boy Scott Vick. Man, I had a lot of fun with that one. I really enjoyed that interview. Sheik, what about you, man? What'd you think of that?
Yeah, he was great. He was, so I know I say it all the time, there's so giving with the questions, and, he gave a lot without being asked. And he, I thought he was honest with all his stuff. He didn't, sometimes you ask people a question and they might not give you their honest opinion. I felt like he was honest. He gave us exactly how he felt. So yeah. What
about you? What do you think, Q?
I thought it was really good. I didn't know much about him. I mean, I remember the name. Yeah. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there like in the same boat I was in. I hope they give it a listen, because it's really a good story. Is really interesting, his career. It was really, so I'm hoping, even though we might not know the guy or it don't stand out like, some of the people have on here, please listen to it, because it is really, he has a really good story.
Yeah. I totally agree, and it was a pleasure to have him on, and we thank him very much for all that, because like I said, I mean, I just don't know what didn't click with him, because clearly he can talk. I mean, maybe it was just a timing thing, it sounds like, because there was just a lot of bad timing things that happened, and then, the idea to put him with that Katie Vick deal and, all that stuff, I mean, wow. I do remember, like now that we covered it, I do remember back in the day, like reading that on the dirt sheets, like, prowrestling.net or whatever, you know what I mean? And I remember reading those sites, and I remember reading something about like the WWE having plans to try to tie him into that. And it was just like brief little sentences and paragraphs about it, nothing major, but it was like clicking with me as we were talking about it with him. But what a cool show. Like I said, that was a big one for me. I really enjoyed his work back in the day. Won me a beer or two here and there, so that was awesome. Before we get on to the show today, though, I guess the bad news is out, and I guess everybody's heard it by now, but in my opinion, the greatest announcer of all time has passed away in the one and only Bob Caudle at the age of 95. Obviously, there's so many great announcers out there that it's hard to question who the greatest is, and it's really just subjective taste. But, if you have a top five, I really, kind of doubt that Bob's not in it. But anyway, Sheik, what do you think, man?
I'm a little bit younger than you, and I'm younger than Quinton. So when I think about him, a lot of my thoughts and memories of him come from Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and
Yeah.
of course, I've seen plenty from Mid Atlantic and Crockett and everything like that, NWA stuff like that. But my big memories of him are like Saturday morning seeing him on Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and we huge Smoky Mountain fans, and it's like a I don't know, it's like a little bit of your childhood's gone or something like that when somebody like that dies. Even though he was 95, he lived a good life, but still hurts.
No doubt. Q, what do you remember about Bob?
He's one, because I grew up on the Memphis, so Lance Russell, is always my number one, and then Soley was on my number two, and actually I thought I liked Cottle's three until probably the more I watched the Smoky Mountain, especially when I started getting all the Smoky Mountain footage in, man, he really grew on me. He was good because I used to see him when we started getting the was it the worldwide, whatever the syndicated NWA show was. I think we started getting it in Nashville around 86, just 87-ish. So I didn't know anything about him then. So that's when I started hearing Bob Cottle. And like I said, then when I got that Smoky Mountain stuff, I was like, man, he is really good. And him and Dutch together they worked so well together. And and then still I see clips today. I'm thinking he's probably my number two. I think he's past Soley. Different style.
Totally.
But so I guess it's just the way he was just so good. He was, and I don't think he gets a lot of credit, for what he did. He gets it from the people in the South, especially the Carolinas and all that. But overall, nationwide or whatever, I don't think he gets as much credit because they just don't. There's not a lot, lots and lots of Mid Atlantic out there. But no, I thought he was really, really good.
Yeah. It's like the same thing that I thought made Lance great, made Bob great. It was like that homespun folksy style about both of them that just felt like it was like your granddad or your uncle talking to you about pro wrestling, but also in a tremendous Southern professional manner. And I don't really know of a better way to say that. But, Bob, he was born in Charlotte. Outside of the wrestling world, Cottle also was active in politics. I didn't know this either. He was an avowed Republican, contributed to the campaigns of Senator Jesse Helms, and he actually became a legislative assistant for Jesse after he left WRAL in 1980, working in Helms' office in Raleigh. He remained in that position until 96. So basically the entire run of wrestling, he was doing this with Jesse Helms as well. Cottle was married to his wife Jackie for 76 years until her death last year. They have 3 children, 7 grandchildren, and 12 great-grandchildren. His death at 95 was announced November 16th, 2025. I talked to David Crockett about him last time I saw David at the gathering, and David was talking about that he was pretty spry, but losing his wife had kind of affected some things for him, which is going to be normal for everybody. But I don't think you can say the words Mid-Atlantic wrestling without thinking of Bob. But I agree with both of you. Smoky Mountain, he was incredible. And I thought he added a touch of the old days to the Smoky Mountain show that I feel like if he had had somebody else, it could have worked. But if you'd had somebody else, it may not have been as good. And also think about this too. I'm sure Jim was like, okay, Smoky Mountain Wrestling, who do I want for my announce team? Okay, Lance is already busy in Memphis. I better not try to steal him. So I'm going to grab this guy who's just so happens to be available and is just as incredible. So yeah, Bob, he started every show with hello wrestling fans. I know Lance had something similar, but I think I want to say this to kind of give him a tribute. So Bob, you're the best in my book. Thank you so much. And as far as that goes, until then, so long for now. Love you, Bob. Couple more things. Captain's Corner, Portland Wrestling Expo 2, Saturday, February 21st, Holiday Inn, Portland Airport, 8439 Northeast Columbia Court, Portland, Oregon. Go see Nick and all of our good friends we've just had on the shows. Lynn Denton, the grappler. Come on, man. You know, you go to meet him just for that sole reason right there alone. But then you can see Dave Sullivan.
Precious Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. Precious Paul and many more. Definitely go check that out if you're in that area. Let them know that Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling sent you. Also, NWA Solder Days on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling YouTube through February 7th, 26th. All right, one more thing to go. Gideon's Warriors, a night of pro wrestling stories and testimony of God's grace and mercy. Pastor Rick Reynolds and all of our buddies, Sunday, January 18th, 2026 at 7 p.m. at His House Ministries, 4909 Highway 43, Summertown, Tennessee. I know Rick will love to see you. Enjoy yourself. I know that's going to be a good time. Guys, is there anything y'all'd like to talk about before we get to the main portion of the show today?
No, not for me. I'm ready for it.
Let's do it.
All right. And when Quinton says that, you know what that means. We'll be right back with more Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling after these messages. Gideon's Warriors, a night of pro wrestling stories and testimony of God's grace and mercy. Come hear Pastor Rick Reynolds, who you may know as Damien or Forsaken, Shane Morton, Ben Jordan, and Tommy Phillips, aka Sean Schultz, as they share their experiences in pro wrestling and their personal walks with God. It's all going to be on Sunday, January 18th, 2026 at 7 p.m. at His House Ministries, 4909 Highway 43, Summertown, Tennessee. Everyone is welcome. Do not miss this one-time event.
Hey, this is Pastor Rick Reynolds of His House Ministries in Summertown, Tennessee. I'd like to do a personal invitation to everyone to come see us on January 18th, 2026 at 7 o'clock.
Hey, my name is Tammy Reynolds. I am the wife of Forsaken, Rick Reynolds, that super cool guy that everybody knows and loves. And I represent West Side Sauces. I make sauces, I bottle them, I seal them, I sell them. I have a hot honey sauce, I have a sweet sauce, I have a hot sauce, I have a white sauce that's so yummy you can use it on everything. They are absolutely amazing and I'm so proud of them. We make them from scratch. So go on our website, westsidesauces.com, check out our products, read about our story, and go online and order you some of these yummy sauces. And Rick actually uses all of the sauces because he is a die-hard smoker and griller, and so he likes really good sauces and rubs, and I make them, so how convenient is that for him? Go on our website, westsidesauces.com, order you some samples, and I think you'll thoroughly enjoy them. Thank you guys. Be blessed.
Welcome to This Month in Wrestling History with Quinton Quarisma.
All right, guys. So this is November, so we're going to start out. We're going to go to November 1st, 1949. NWA Heavyweight Champion Orville Brown has a car wreck with Bobby Bruns. They were coming back from Des Moines, Iowa, where they worked each other that night. This was big because, we talked about the formation of the NWA a few months back, and Orville Brown was their first champion. So he's riding high. He's in his brand new, I can't remember, it was Cadillac or what it was, but it was a brand new car. He's on top of the world. They're coming back. They're headed to Missouri, back to St. Louis. Right outside of St. Louis, they have a car wreck, and it's a bad one. Brown is he's in bad shape. I mean, he's in really, really bad shape. I've looked up some newspaper articles on it, and it really messed him up pretty bad. From what I remember, Bronze didn't get hurt as bad, but I think he kept wrestling. So and what was really bad about this, this is right before, at the end of the month, the NWA, there was NWA, National Wrestling Alliance. That's the one that was formed in Waterloo. And the other was the NWA, was the National Wrestling Association. Their champion was Thez.
Huh.
So in November 25th, 1949, Brown and Thez were supposed to have a match to unify the Alliance champion and association champion. This was like the big deal. I mean, they were promoting it, and he had this car wreck, 25 days before the big thing, because like they were going to actually unify the two belts.
Yeah.
And he's done. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. So it just, like I said, he was the guy they put the title on him to begin with. That was who was going to be their guy, long term. It looked like either him or Thez, or they were going to actually maybe switch it back and, have something big out of this. It was really going to be big. Now, from what I read, that was Brown's last match.
Mm-hmm.
And they said he never wrestled again. And of course, I dig around, look for stuff. And so I found a couple matches he worked like a year or so later. And I was like, okay, everywhere I read, it ended his career. So I did some more digging, and I found out a story about him receiving a settlement for $35,000 on that wreck. So that was like 1950 when he got the settlement. That's a lot of money back then. I mean, that's a lot of money now, but
right.
I mean, that's some, retirement money right there. So after the settlement, that's when I found the date, found that. And then the dates, he worked a few tags, I do believe, like 2 or 3 I found scattered, but they were after that settlement. So I'm thinking it was kind of like one of those things where he wanted to come back and just do something, but he couldn't to that settlement, kind of like the old Lloyd's of London thing where the boys would, work that Lloyd's of London, and then they get it and they would come back, to work, kind of like the Rick Rude thing where Lloyd said if he come back to work, he's got to pay that money back. That pretty much, the boys couldn't use that Lloyd's of London anymore. That
right.
interesting. It pretty much was gone after all that. But it kind of preceded that because he got all this money, but then after he got the money, I found a couple of places where he worked.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very interesting. Like I said, of all the articles I saw he was done. That was his last match ever, and I found like 2 or 3 floating around. So,
Dang.
But yeah. Jared, can you look up what $35,000 would be in today's money?
From what year again was it?
It was 1950.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
That's got to be just crazy amount of money. So,
oh yeah,
he hit a 18. I think he hit a 18-wheeler. Hit him. So it was. Or do they have 18-wheelers? Sometimes they said it was a big delivery. It's like a big truck, transportation truck. So I guess they had 18-wheelers back then.
Or something.
So that they hit them and so it wasn't his fault, the wreck. So
man,
I guess that's how I got the settlement.
Gotcha.
470,000.
Whoa! Almost $500,000.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whew.
Hey, Tracy Morgan got more from Walmart on that, though, so I don't know.
Yeah. Man. That's when the old Bart Doom settlements.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay. Did you ever meet him when you were in Nashville, Jimmy?
I got to. So he would come in this Italian restaurant that I did some work at, and I didn't officially meet him, but he was strange to look at.
He was, he'd pop in and out of USWO, popping out of Saw and different places around, actually from about 2000 on,
Yeah, I mean, I never met him in wrestling or anything to do with wrestling.
Yeah.
It was at a restaurant I worked at for a little bit. And this was, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So.
All right, so now we're going to go to November 7th, 1962, we're going to go to Los Angeles, California, to the Olympic Auditorium.
Mm.
Dick Beyer, known as the Destroyer, beat Gorgeous George in a mask versus hair match. So if Beyer, the Destroyer, lost, he lost his mask. If Gorgeous George lost, he loses his hair. And that, his hair was his gimmick,
Yeah.
I remember you'd see pictures floating around from promotional pictures of him getting his hair done. And, that was big part of his gimmick. So he lost the match and they shaved his head. Yep. And they said this was his last match. He died like a year later. And guess what? I did some digging. And in a newspaper, I found an article, December in Long Beach, California. He had another match.
Oh.
It was a tag match. I can't remember who his partner was. I should have wrote it down. But it was against Dick Beyer and a partner against Gorgeous George and a partner in Long Beach.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And that really, because I was shocked when I found that, because they said it was his last match, and he got his head shaved. His gimmick's done.
Yeah.
I could see maybe bringing it back to LA, to the auditorium. That was their big town, the big building. But have it in Long Beach, have a match in that's kind of,
Yeah.
So I don't know, because they said he was dead broke.
Really? That's sad.
Yeah. They said when he died, he was dead broke.
God.
So, and I'm thinking that there's no tellings what they paid him to get his head shaved.
Yeah.
So, and I'm thinking, he did a couple more matches just because he needed. They said they said he was dead broke.
Man.
And he was I think they said in the 50s he made more money than Thez.
Wow.
The champion. Yeah. He was the man.
Let me just say something real quick about the Destroyer, Dick Beyer. I gotta say that is my least favorite mask of all time. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I just don't like that mask. I've never liked that mask. It's plain. Yeah, it looks like somebody's underwear stretched over his head, kind of. And I hate to say that because he's a legend, but there's just so many better masks, and it just seems like he got suited up with the worst one. Because, it's almost like that mask you talked about that guy wearing in Madison Square Garden where his whole face is showing.
Yeah.
There's no real...
I think from all the pictures I've seen of him, I don't think he ever changed. I think it was the first style he had. He kept that same style. I don't think he ever,
Yeah.
So I think he got comfortable with it and just...
Yeah. He don't have to, because we had Arvold talking about the peripheral vision and stuff, and, choking you and stuff. But, he cut out that element of it. There shouldn't be any peripheral vision.
Definitely.
His nose, he's got a huge nose anyway, so he had to have a big nose hole. I swear it's like them, it's like them back in the day when there was... Some girls would wear these. Really extra special trashy girls would wear these. Forgive me if y'all wore these out there, listeners. But you remember when girls would turn underwear into like tank tops and paint Batman signals on them or something, like airbrushed on them? It was like a thing back in the 80s. That's what it reminds me of. Like somebody modified their, hey, sorry, Dick. I'm sorry. I know you need a hood tonight, brother, but here's my underwear. It's all I can give you. Sorry.
He started in the 50s.
So,
I don't think K&H had come around to the 60s. So, I'm sure it was do your own,
Yeah. And you can tell. And hey, he stuck with it, and I ain't knocking it because I really hate to knock a legend like this. You know what I mean? But man, never liked that mask. Always thought it looked stupid. And dude, the grappler masks and the assassin's masks and just so many great masks. Spoiler, But anyway, I'm gonna shut up. But Dick Byers' mask, that could have used some work. But it makes sense though that you said he just kept the one he used the whole time because he looks like yeah. So anyway, keep going, Q. Sorry, man.
All right, I thought it was good. And hey, that's what we talk about. Parts of it. That's he was a legend, part of history, and he was one of the first mask guys that I can remember. That went national and worldwide. But he had one of the worst looking masks. So
it's just how it is. Yeah,
that's how it is.
They can't all be winners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go to November 6, 1973. We're going to go to Mobile, Alabama, to the Mobile Auditorium. It's just for the Gulf Coast promotion, the promotion I love and nobody knows about, it seems like. The promotion I bore everybody with every month.
Come on.
This was like, they call this the Night of Champions. Nick Gillis did these all the time, like once a year to pop the house. Every match was a title match on this card. That's why I did this, because I know Goulas did them, and you'd see, but this was really legit. It had some names on it. All right, we're gonna start with the first match. We're gonna do this real fast. The NWA Alabama Heavyweight Title. Dick Dunn beat Norvell Austin. Dick Dunn, if you don't know him, he was an old timer, Southern Territory guy. He had a great run. Him and Don Carson. He was the Red Shadow in the Goulas territory in the early 70s. They have the Southern tag titles like 4 times. I mean, it was big time guy for the Gulf Coast, the Goulas. This is what's crazy. Norvell 73. This was Norvell Austin's first or second year. And this is when you can find pictures floating around when he was with Sputnik Monroe, and he Sputnik had the hair gimmick.
Yeah.
Norvell had it too. Had the just like Sputnik right there.
Yeah.
The little skunk thing in the top.
That's gotta be funny.
Those pictures are hilarious, man. If you find them.
Oh man,
I'll try to search for it and put it on the site. Yeah. It's like him and Norvell and Sputnik, they were a team and worked a lot of places. Go to the second one. It's the Southern Junior Heavyweight Title match. Les Thornton was the champion. He beat Coppola Khan. This is not Terry Adonis.
No, Terry Adonis.
Yeah. This guy was a 25-year journeyman from Mexico, and he worked EMML a lot. Okay. So go to the third match. We got an NWA US Tag Title match. The Infernos beat Sputnik Monroe and Rocket Monroe for the titles. Actually, we have Sputnik. Rocket Monroe was a guy named Murray High, worked 20 years Southern Territories. Worked on top a lot in Gulf Coast and everywhere. Okay, now this is Infernos was with J.C. Dykes, and we go back to the Infernos interns. There's been Mephisto and Dante's, and I looked up, and there's been so many, and there were so many floating around. But from what I could gather, this was Rocky and Curtis Smith. So that was, from what I gathered, it was Rocky and Curtis Smith is the Infernos, because they were, and I want to say Rocky around this time period, either Rocky left or Curtis left. One stayed, and they brought some. It's one of those things. It's hard to keep up with it. There were so many, of those massive people tag teams. It's kind of really hard to narrow down exactly. But so it's either most likely it's Rocky and Curtis. Right. All right, fourth match is NWA Gulf Coast Heavyweight Title match. The Medic beat Mike Boyette to become the new champion. The Medic was a journeyman, Tony Gonzalez. He worked as the Medic down on the Gulf Coast a lot that time period. Fifth match is the NWA Mid-South Women's Tag Title match. Didn't know there was such a thing. I think now that might be one of those gimmicks like Goulas did, where he just had extra belts and he just put them on somebody that night to make it sound like, to have another title match. So
decided to make it special. Yeah.
Yeah.
Peggy Patterson and Sue Green beat Dottie Downs and Paula Kay to become the new champions. So I don't know. Anyway, sixth match was now this was legit. NWA World's Women's Title match. Fabulous Moolah beat Tony Rose. Everybody thinks that Moolah was the WWF champion, for all the way in the 60s now, that she was actually the NWA champion.
Okay.
Before they switched that over. Because WWF was part of the NWA off and on for, years.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'd heard that before.
Yeah. And so then we go to the seventh match. We go to the NWA World Junior Heavyweight title match. Danny Hodge beat Jackie Fargo. That was I wasn't expecting that when I saw Jackie Fargo on this. And I know he worked some Gulf Coast stuff as a heel. I didn't think it was up until 73. I thought it was a little late for that, but then we go to the main event, NWA World Title match. Jack Briscoe beat Ken Lucas. Ken Lucas is one of those guys, man. I just wish there was footage of him, or there's stuff floating around, late 70s, 80s, Memphis, and then the early 80s stuff in Houston with him and Ricky Morton. But they say he was one of the best baby faces ever, and I would have loved to seen this match because in 73, Lucas was in his prime. And I mean, Jack Briscoe speaks for himself. So I'm sure that was a really, really good match, so. But that was their big show that I could, that's the only one I could really find it. Gulf Coast had one of these. Like I said, Goodlet's had them like once every couple of years, but that was their first one I could actually find they've ever did one of those. I guess they just need to pop the house or something. So now we're going to go to November 1st, 1974. And this guy's going to come up a lot during this because November through the years was a busy month for this guy. Ron Fuller ran his first Knoxville, Tennessee show after buying the promotion from John Kazana. And this was, he changed it to Southeastern Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
Yep. So this is when that all started. 74. He ran his first show. The story that's out there, you can find it on his old podcast site. Story about buying Knoxville and how he did all that was because Knoxville was actually a one-town promotion. Kazana just owned Knoxville.
Right.
And, Tri-Cities and all that, Kingsport, that was all different. Same guys worked them, but Kazana just did Knoxville and the Knoxville TV.
That shocks me with how, comparatively small to like other areas that area is, and that they wouldn't have had like Kingsport and all that too.
Yeah, I don't think Kazana wanted because different people own this stuff at different times, and and Knoxville. I mean, it was Kazana and his brother, and Kazana took over full. Just his brother got out. It was just John Kazana, but they were tied into the Nashville office with Goulas and Welch because they were sending talent to Knoxville. And they were paying that percentage back to the Nashville office.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and Fuller talks about how he broke away from that, got all the way from that, and go listen, find it on his old podcast site because it's really interesting story to listen to it because there's a lot more than just going there and buying a promotion. It was actually buying a town, and he had to make the promotion. So it's really interesting to listen to that. So we'll go to November 1st, 1977. We're going to go back down the Gulf Coast. I'm still going to bore people with it. Ken Lucas beat Pat Kelly for the Gulf Coast heavyweight title, and it was in Mobile, Alabama. And Ken Lucas was the last Gulf Coast heavyweight champion. So they're getting rid of all these each city with all these belts. They're slowly getting rid of them because shortly in 78, Mr. Ron Fuller buys the promotion. But anyway, so then we're going to go to November 7th, 1985. We're going to the Rosemont Horizon. WWF held their first pay-per-view. It was called the Wrestling Classic.
Mm.
Yep. And from what all I've read, this was it wasn't, it was, it was their first one. They've had closed circuit and all that stuff. This was like so not all the cable companies carried it, but it was officially called the first pay-per-view. And from all the reviews I said, it was not very good because it was a tournament. And I looked at it, and man, I think it had 20 matches. It was crazy, and they were short. Oh man, they were like one match. I think Dynamite Kid beat Nikolai Volkov in like 5 seconds. I mean,
wow.
They were all like 2 and 3 minute matches. Until you got like to the final. The finals was Junkyard Dog and Randy Savage, and that was like the longest match. JYD beat Savage to become the Wrestling Classic champion. Hogan was on the show. He wasn't in the tournament. He beat Roddy Piper by DQ. And actually, I think that was the longest match. I think it was like 14 minutes or something. So at the time, I'm sure it was good. But I said there's like 14 plus matches in the tournament. So I'm sure it drug. But it's history because it was their first actual pay-per-view. So
that's cool though. Yeah.
Yep. And I actually remember I saw it back on when the WF 24/7 was out. They had it on there for a while. I remember watching it. It was really short matches, and it was a good idea that it just, I don't know, it's kind of like the King of the Ring. It was like a precursor to the King of the Ring.
Got it.
Way for what it was, but too many. It's too many. It didn't,
Yeah.
So I think it was one of the things I'm going to try it, then we'll work out the kinks later, I think. So
yeah. I like that name. I like that name though. The Wrestling Classic, Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good name for a pay-per-view. It wasn't
the opposite.
After a while they try to get, everything had a catch name to it,
Right.
So that was just, let's just go simple, boom,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now this next one is really, this one was bad right here. We'll go to November 1st, 1985. Rick McGraw dies. Okay. I don't really put deaths on here unless something happened because, there was something to it.
Right.
So in October, Rick McGraw was going to start to get a small push. Him and Piper did a small angle, or he was on Piper's pit, and they did that. I think it was, he said he could beat Piper if he'd give him this chance, something like that. Anyway, so they have a match. All this, back then, WWF TV was always taped, and sometimes you'd see it a month later. They do those big long tapings, and they'd break it up, and you'd see it, all through the month, right?
Yeah.
So they taped the match in October, and they had the match where Piper let him shine a little bit, and then Piper just beat him, took him on the floor. I think he dropped him on the rail, and just keep on beating him. The ref stopped it. Okay, like I said, now they do these tapings, and they would air later, right? This match aired the day after he died.
Oh, wow.
And it got out, and they saw it, and they heard he died, and it was believed that Piper was the reason he died.
Daggone.
Yeah.
Daggone.
I don't know why they let that air. I never figured that out.
Yeah.
It kind of goes back to a few months back when Lonnie Main died, and he died, and then that Saturday's TV, that Buddy Rose was, cutting the interview about their match.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that a few months.
Yeah, they air.
Very similar.
Yeah, so it's like, but with 85, this is right there, right at the start of the nationwide push and hammer down, and it seemed like you would not want that out there.
Definitely not. Not.
But they let it. I guess they was wanting to get all the heat they could on Piper.
Yeah.
And what better way the ultimate heat would be to kill somebody?
Right. Just go ahead. Gosh.
Yeah. So they let that. Yeah. I was really. I remember when he passed. And I remember watching New York. And they talked. Put a little graphic. Said. Quick draw Rick McGraw pass and all that. So anyway, that was bad taste on that one, I guess. All right. So you're going to go to November 2nd, 1987. We'll go to Memphis, Tennessee. Manny Fernandez beat Bill Dundee for the CWA International title. And Manny Fernandez was the last CWA International champion.
Okay.
So,
okay.
And next month, we'll go more detail of why he was the last champion.
Gotcha. Okay. Good deal.
All right. So we go to November 5th, 1988. I remember watching this when it happened, and it blew my mind. We're going to go to Atlanta, Georgia. We're going to go down to Techwood, down to the studios. This was on the Saturday night TV show. The original Midnight Express jump Bobby and Stan and Jim Cornette with his legendary juice job.
Yeah.
I mean, that was...
Yeah.
I mean, you just didn't see something like that, you know?
Right. Not at all.
I mean, it was... I mean, Memphis only thing TV I remember them ever doing a phone call on the TV.
Yeah.
And, they did the whole thing where, they give Cornette during the match the phone. He's like, who is this? Really? Is it? Well, you come anytime,
Yeah.
And then they come and hits him with the phone and just gusher, man. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And who would ever think the Midnight Express would be turned babyface? It was crazy. That whole little angle there. It's just something to me. I remember it because I remember watching it and my mind was blown when it happened.
Totally. Yeah.
So, what did y'all think when y'all saw it?
I mean, is he gonna die?
It seemed like a lot. It seemed like a lot. I mean, you can remember times seeing people, especially younger, and thinking, "My goodness, how are they bleeding that much? Like, is that even possible?"
Now, he still has the jacket.
I think I've seen that jacket or something.
He has it hanging up at the castle, he calls it, his house.
Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe it's been on Dark Side, they'll show glimpses of it or something. Because when they talk to him, they typically go a little B-roll footage through his home.
Yeah.
I feel like
I think that's where I've seen it too. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it was just, that was just a gusher of all gushers, and it's one you'll never forget. I mean, it's just how it is, man. I just was because, when they come like that, and when it happens like that, it's for sure something different, because all those years of Flair looking like, the Red Rooster, he looked like the Red Rooster with his hair because he had the pink going through his hair because he would bleed so much. But this was totally different,
Yeah.
Something different, man.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. So we're going to get to November 6th, 1984. It's just a little blurb. We're not going to talk much about it. AAA runs the When Worlds Collide pay-per-view. That was kind of big because AAA was new.
Yeah.
It was in LA, so that was something different, I remember. And that's basically when America got to see Eddie Guerrero and Art Barr run amok,
Okay. Yeah. Gotta love that. That was a great tag team.
Yes, it was. All right. So I said I'm going to talk much about it because, I mean, it's out there. You can go watch the pay-per-view. It's out there somewhere.
Sure.
So I'll go to November 6, 1995. Smoky Mountain held their last TV tapings in Cumberland, Kentucky.
Okay.
Sad day.
Very sad day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
All three of us love Smoky Mountain. So
Man, oh man.
Yeah. Definitely.
Nobody knew it was coming. So, I mean, that was their last. They taped it. I think they taped 3 shows and they aired it all the way up through November. All right. So now we're going to go over to November 8th, 1975, St. Paul, Minnesota. Nick Bockwinkel beat Vern Gagne for the AWA World title, and this was Nick's first run with the belt. And I think he held it for, 5 years or so, not counting the little off and on thing they did in Memphis, where the belt was held up. And that, Vern didn't count that stuff. But anyway, so this was his first run, big long run. So, all right. So then we're going to go to November 8th, 1979, Lexington, Kentucky. Jerry Lawler beat superstar Billy Graham for the CWA World title. This was Jerry. Yeah, Jerry Jarrett's. Nobody, he was with AWA at this time. And like I said, they wasn't giving up their belt, so he just decided to make his own belt.
Yeah.
And it's that famous. And some pictures early on of the belt, you see it was like a white color, and then you see some toward the end, it looked like it was silver. Oh, okay. But it was Trophy Shop. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
It's huge.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's like it's Trophy Shop printed on it, and they call it. What do they call it?
The
12-pack belt or something, because it's like it's like because it's box shaped. It's like a big box, 12-pack box.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was law. So they would have ought to have a world title. So he finally got one, but it was Jerry Jarrett's world title. So I don't take it for what it is,
Right. And Vern was like, I don't count that.
Yeah. So here we go. So we'll go to November 12th, 1979. Billy Robinson wins the AWA British Empire heavyweight title.
Huh?
What?
He was their last champ.
Okay.
From what I think it was, they come up with like a 72, and for all I could find, it was only defended in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada.
Okay, makes sense.
I guess I'm wondering if they had a separate TV, maybe, or I don't know, but I never heard of it. As I ran across, and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So, we'll be right back with more. Give me back my pro wrestling.
Captain's Corner is bracing for a big close to 2025, featuring Glory Days GrappleCon 3 on Saturday, October 25th. Glory Days GrappleCon 3 invades the Hilton Garden Inn in beautiful Lutz, Florida, featuring the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, Abdul the Butcher, Barry Windham, Dory Funk Jr., and many more. This will be one of the biggest assemblance of legends to ever hit the Gulf Coast. Then, as the year closes, we focus on the Portland Wrestling Expo 2. Returning to the Holiday Inn Portland Airport on February 21st, PWE 2 will feature Ken Patera, The Grappler, Gorgeous Joey Jackson, Scott Norton, and over a dozen other stars of the past, present, and future of the Pacific Northwest. Make sure to head on over to Captain's Corner on Facebook and Instagram for full details on both those shows and all of our other signings. Cheers to the working man. So, okay, we'll go to November 9th, 1987. We'll go to Memphis, Tennessee. Jeff Jarrett beat Jimmy Jack Funk for the CWA Mid-America title. Oh. Jeff Jarrett was the last champ.
Okay.
That's got to hold this belt. And it goes back to the Manny Fernandez International belt. It'll all tie into next month.
I like it.
Yes, okay. So we'll go to November 13th, 1980. We're going to Birmingham, Alabama. And like I said, this guy, I told you, this guy be popping up all through here. Ron Fuller runs his first Continental show in Birmingham. So he's been running Southeastern. He's then gone out of Knoxville. Was that turned into a crap show with all that?
Oh, yeah.
He's done with that. So, in 78, he bought Gulf Coast. He got Gulf Coast up booming. So he's headed north. And Birmingham at this time was just really, I can't figure it out because that was a Goulas town. That was his Monday town. And then up to like 79, you start on all the newspaper articles, you see this guy McKenzie. I can't remember what his first name was. McKenzie, all the articles was McKenzie Enterprise. And Hutto even talked about, he said, hey, I worked for McKenzie. And, so, but then again, I'm like, well, did Nick sell all the way to sell out? Because it's all Nick's crew. But in the 1980 lawsuit with Jerry Jarrett and Buddy Fuller against Goulas, Birmingham is mentioned about the TV. So I'm wondering if if McKenzie was promoter and Gulas, but it was Gulas on the TV in Birmingham. Because like I said, in the lawsuit article, it mentioned Gulas owned the rights to Birmingham TV. And he was that whole lawsuit. He's because he pulled the Nashville TV and he was threatening to pull the Birmingham TV. And I remember in the article it said the Fuller owned the Birmingham. So like I said, I don't know. It's just a mass confusion. Like I said, Gulas just went crazy at that time period. And then I noticed the next night in Huntsville, Alabama, Southeastern ran Huntsville the next night. And so I'm sure that was their first time, because all those northern towns I've seen that Gulas used to run, that I found articles where McKenzie was running them. So I don't know if, like I said, there's all this is connected somehow with Gulas, the Welches, Fullers, what do you want to call them? So that's a lot of stuff I don't know. All right. So we're going to go, actually, I'm sure Bo James knows all about all that. Look, and then go contact Bo James about it if you want to know more about it, because I can't figure it out. It's too confusing.
No problem.
So we're going to go to November 14th, 1974. We're going to go to Chattanooga, Tennessee. Jackie Fargo, Dennis Hall, and George Gulas beat Jerry Lawler, Don Kent, and Juan Sebastian in the finals for the NWA World Six-Man Tag Team titles.
Okay.
And this was supposed to be the first one for the NWA. And it was in Gulas territory. There's pictures going around of those belts. People think they're some of the ugliest belts. I love them. They're right up my trophy shop, but they were really unique. People said they were horrible looking, but I loved them.
Yeah.
And this tournament, from when I went back and looked, it didn't all happen in one night. It was like over a 4-week thing in Chattanooga. And from what I could tell, it was like one match a week, maybe 2 matches. So it wasn't like a one-night tournament like was normal. And they spread it out, so which was different. So
that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
I'd like to have been there for all that.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So we'll go to November 16th, 1955. We're going to Tokyo, Japan. Yeah. Okay, and I'm going to butcher these names, but just bear with me.
Do your best. That's all we.
All right. We got Tiger Joe Gender and King Kong Zaya beat Ricky Dozan and Harold Sakata to become the first JPWA All Asian Tag Team Champions. That was the first promotion there in Japan, Ricky Dozan promotion. So all right, so we're going to go to November 15th, 1976, Gulfport, Mississippi. Good old Gulf Coast territory. Ravens Raiders beat Dick Dunn and Greg Peterson to win the City of Gulfport tag team titles. And as always, they were the last champions. Okay. I talked about Dick Dunn earlier. Greg Peterson, he's a mainstay in Gulf Coast in the 70s. I don't know much about him. I've just seen his name. I have no idea what he looks like. Now, the Ravens Raiders, I went searching because I had, there was the Raven, what was it? Something Raven was the manager down there. So I went digging way back on.
So this is pre-ECW Ravens flock.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
And they had Dick Dunn.
Yeah.
What a name.
Yeah. Oh, Dick Dunn.
Is that a shoot name, you think?
I don't know.
I hope not.
I mean, if it's not, somebody, if that's not a shoot, why would you? Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. If it's not a shoot name, like, why would you
use that?
Yeah. I mean,
Dick Jones or Dick something, but Dick Dunn.
or how about Richard Dunn, just to change it?
There you go. Hey, that's my brother's name.
Okay, there you go. So makes sense. Yeah. I prefer just started for the last name of that one, but never mind.
Yeah. So I dug deep on this Ravens Raiders. I went back to, I just searched through Kayfabe Memories posts, and nobody could figure it out. Nobody knew who Ravens Raiders was. Actually, like I said, these were old posts from years and years back. I'm talking 10, 15 years back, of these posts. People didn't know. Some people said it was Larry Latham and Carl Fergie.
Okay.
And then Percy Pringle, who he posted a lot back then on the kayfabe members. He said it was Percy. He said it was Latham and Carl Fergie.
Yeah.
And then kept scrolling down, and he said, I just rewatched a match with the Cajuns, and it wasn't Latham and Ferris was not the Raiders. So nobody knows who they were. I mean, they did, but nowadays nobody, because there's no footage, and if Percy Pringle says he don't know who they were, I don't,
Yeah, they're lost to history, probably.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go to November 17th, 1976, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, Gulf Coast. Here we go. Bob Kelly beat the wrestling pro Leon Baxter for the Mississippi heavyweight champion, and he was the last champion because when Bob Kelly retired in 1977, he retired the belt with him. So the wrestling pro was Leon Baxter, and he has a tie-in because his son was Sean Baxter, which has been brought up several times on our podcast.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that was Leon Baxter was his dad. All right. So we're going to go to November 21st, 1979. We're going to go to Nashville, Tennessee. And I think I've talked about this back when I was doing the weekly gimmicks. Nick Gillis ran his first show at the new Nashville Sports Arena at the Tennessee State Fairgrounds. I found the newspaper article of the results, and they said the results on it, the attendance was 4,176. And all I got to say about that is no way.
Yes, yeah.
I've been in that building 100 times. I've wrestled in it a few times. There's no way you could get 4,000 people in there standing on every square inch of the building. And that's without a ring in it. So,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's just, and from what I can remember, the way they had it set up when I used to go as a kid, they had chairs on all four sides. They had the balconies on two sides, and then they had roll-out bleachers on four sides behind the chairs on the ringside chairs. But when Gillis first started, a few pictures I've seen, he had the ringside chairs, but did not have all four side bleachers. So there was no way in the world he had 4,000 people in that building. Just no way.
Sounds out there.
Yeah, it was his biggest crowd he had because before he went to that sports arena building, he was in that little building. It maybe held, like I said, I've talked about that. I think I've talked about it before where when the crowds come up in 78, they had to push more seating in, but the building was odd shaped and they could only put in it could barely hold 1,500 people. And that was like, Fire Chief Max, So like they did this building and there was no way they had 4,000. What was interesting was, the main event was Lawler against Superstar Billy Graham for the CWA world title that we talked about earlier. So they had a big card. It was all of Gillis's regulars except for, Lawler and Graham. One of the matches I noticed on the advertisement in the newspaper was Ed Moriarty against Bruce Reed. And Ed Moriarty and Bruce Reed, that match didn't happen.
Yeah.
Ed Moriarty, I think we've talked about a little bit. He's one of those Portland mainstays back then. He was actually known as Moondog Moretti. I think we talked about him about being more in between Moondog than a Memphis Moondog. Now, Bruce Reed, that was Butch Reed's name early in his career. I don't know if this was supposed to be Butch Reed or not. I don't know. The match they put in its place was Joe Valiant versus Chief Thundercloud. Chief Thundercloud was a Gillis mainstay. Joe Valiant, I have no idea who he was. It wasn't, Jimmy, Jerry. What was the third one? Guy Mitchell. He became a Valiant. Oh, what was the Jimmy, Jerry, John? He was Jerry because it's Jimmy, right. Johnny, and Jerry. He was Jerry Valiant. Was Guy Mitchell. So I don't know who Joe Valiant was. So. I don't know. So, so that was the big show, and they gave out the cards, Scott Teal cards, the legendary Rex roast beef and PBR cards. Their sets
I love
been
a set of those. I'd love to have a set of those.
Yeah, they're hard. A complete set's hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big night in national history. So now we'll go to November 19th, 1990. The Undertaker makes his debut in the WWF. Now, everybody thinks he made his debut at the Survivor Series. Remember, because he brought nobody knew who was. It was Kane, the Undertaker, and Brother Love brought him out. Everybody thought that was his debut. Actually, his debut was on the 19th in Rochester, New York, at a TV taping. He worked Mario Mancini. And this match, like, remember, go back earlier when I was talking about how they'd do those TV tapes, and a month later they would air.
Mm-hmm.
It aired in December. And Mario Mancini is another name that's been brought up on the podcast. He was,
of course,
big buddy. I remember he was big buddies with Paul Roma. Yeah.
They were up at that. They were up at that Montreal wrestling convention that we covered for so long. So very cool.
Exactly. Yeah, at Ruby Foos.
That's right. Hotel Ruby Foos. How can we forget?
Exactly. All right.
Cue everything just real quick. Everything I'm like searching for Joe Valiant comes to Captain Joe Valiant.
No, that's his that's like a guy that drives for Boogie these days to events, but I could be wrong. But
everything I search for with Joe Valiant comes to Captain Joe Valiant. So I don't know.
And I've seen his name on one of those McKenzie cards I was talking about down in Alabama. I've seen his name on them. That's the only two places I've ever seen his name. So I don't know who he is. So
I don't know.
Yeah. So, all right. So we're going to go to November 22nd, 1955. We're going to go back to Tokyo, Japan. And Ricky Dozan beat King Kong Zaya. I guess that's how you say it again. In the tournament finals for the JPWA heavyweight title. All right. Now this was their first champion. Like I said, they just, this is the first, full promotion in Tokyo, Japan. He held the belt until 1963, because in 1963 he was killed. Yeah. And there's stories that it was the Kuza that killed him. All kinds of stories out there of what really happened to Ricky Dozan. Who really knows except for the people that killed him and Ricky Dozan. And so, but there's stories out there that, the Kuza killed him.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, he held the belt to his death. That whole Japan history, it was his promotion and everything. So, I guess that's why he held the belt for so long. And who knows how long he would have held it. And, something with his death is, if he went and died, well, there ever would have been a New Japan and an All Japan.
That's a good question. Yeah. Wow.
It's one of those things. It's like, if Dozan didn't die, what would have really, Japanese wrestling history would be definitely different.
Yeah, and wasn't he Korean actually instead of Japanese?
Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, that's right. Japanese. Yeah, it's Korean.
And then I know that I don't know that this is current, but I know that they have said that Japanese people are kind of racist towards Koreans. So it was kind of crazy that he got over like he did. But
isn't that the reason like Inoki was able to take WCW to North Korea is because of him?
Could be.
A little bit.
Could be.
Because of the connection or something like that between the two?
Could be, yeah.
I think it may be something I've heard before.
Yeah, maybe.
It makes sense, yeah.
I can't remember specifics, but anyway, yeah.
All right. So we're going to go to, this one's been talked about billions of times, but I had to put it on its history. November 24th, 1983. We're going to the Greensboro Coliseum. This was the site for the first arcade.
Nice.
So it's history. Like I said, it's been talked to death. If you don't know about Starrcade, the first one, there's tons of it out there. With the classic cage match of Flair and Harley. That was Harley's last ride as the NWA World Champion.
Kaninsky as the ref.
Didn't they say he messed up or something?
Yes. Flair said that. Yeah.
I remember saying. Yeah, Flair went and that kind of got wobbly. And I think that cage match actually gets overlooked by the dog collar match.
Yep, you're right. You're right.
You know, because people, I think they remember Valentine and Piper's dog collar match because it was so brutal for that time period.
Yeah, but you know what? I've watched that match pretty recently, the dog collar match, and for the match itself is great, but the finish is not. It's just boring. It's just blah.
Flat.
Yeah, but it was a big match for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely. So, all right, so we're gonna go. And I love this one, and I dug deep trying to find stuff on this one. Okay, so November 19th, 1984, One Man Gang wins the Florida Brass Knucks title. Now, 3 sources say he was the last Brass Knucks champion. I can't find any matches nowhere, actually results from matches. He's just listed on the title history of the Florida Brass Knucks as the last champion. And it says he beat Blackjack Mulligan. But Blackjack Mulligan was already in WWF at this time. Here's the kicker of this whole thing, and I wish there was pictures of it. During this short time period, the One Man Gang changed his name to Panama Gang. And I just picture him dressed up like Panama Jack with the shirt, the hat.
Yeah, like Jerry Stubbs or Arn Anderson, Pensacola Arn.
Yeah. You have to have that hat on and the flowered shirt.
Oh man, that's awesome.
I mean, and you know what? I mean, after seeing Akeem, you can imagine what he was doing in this again.
Oh, you know it. Yeah.
and I've looked for video of it. Can't find video. Can't find pictures because it definitely was short. It was short run. If it even happened. But like I said, they had 3 sources that had him down as the last champion. This Panama Gang. And like I said, they say he beat Blackjack Mulligan, so I guess that match took place down in Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah, but right before the Intercontinental title.
That hotbed of title changes down there. Holy. All right, so we're going to go. I just can't get that picture out of my head.
I know, it's awesome. Somebody needs to draw that. That's something.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, so we're going to go to November 26, 1987. We're going to go to Chicago, Illinois. We're going to get Nikita Koloff beat the UWF TV champion Terry Taylor to win the NWA UWF titles because he was already the NWA TV champion, but I guess what I'm saying. There's a unified title match. This was at Starrcade 87. Because I think, didn't we talk about a couple months ago about, we brought that up. I think brought that up about the NWA buying out UWF.
Yes.
Remember,
we sure did.
We talked about the TV title. Okay, yeah. So that was actually when they unified that. Because we were trying to figure out, because they didn't unify the tag, they didn't unify the heavyweight, but they unified the TV title. So that was kind of, I think we talked about that earlier a couple months back. So so that was at Starrcade 87. The big main event of that was Ron Garvin beating Flair in the cage. So then we're going to go to November 26, 1987. Hey, that's the same day. Guess what happened on that day? Not only did NWA run a pay-per-view.
What day was it, Quinton?
November 26, 1987, my birthday.
Yeah, I was going to say, what, did you turn like 9 or something?
I turned 16.
Oh, dude, nice.
Yeah, I was 16. Yeah, 80. Yeah.
I was 9. I was about to be 9. So anyway, keep going.
So NWA was in Chicago, big major city, and WWF was in Richfield, Ohio. I don't know where Richfield, Ohio is. Is that a suburb of Cleveland or?
Probably sounds like it.
Because it's like, sure, that's got to be close to a big city.
Yeah,
if they're running a pay-per-view head to head. But yeah, that was the first time that they ran pay-per-views on the same day against each other.
That's cool. Wow, nice.
And my thing is, it's weird because 87. That was peak full run for New York, but a lot of cable companies and all carried the pay-per-views.
There you go. Yeah.
So they're cutting. You're running a pay-per-view, and you're cutting I don't know if who decided to run first, and the other one tried to run against them, but you're cutting your viewers in half, which It seemed like, I don't know, it just seemed kind of I'm going to hurt it. It sounded like something Vince would do, to it doesn't going to hurt. He don't matter that he don't get a full pay-per-view viewership, because he's printing money
right
in 87.
Right.
But to hurt NWA's pay-per-view buy rate, he would run against him on the same day. It seemed like something Vince would do at the time.
It does. You're right.
I don't see Crockett going, hey, we're going to run the same day as Vince, try to cut his, because you're not going to get enough. You're going to lose money on it.
Right.
Crockett,
definitely. Yeah.
On his buy rate. So I'm thinking that was a Vince move to do that.
Sounds exactly right.
All right. Here we go. This guy's been all over this podcast. This was, I don't have the exact date, sometime in November, toward the end of November. Jim Barnett by Southeastern Wrestling from Ron Fuller.
Oh, okay.
Fuller's done had enough of this war. They've done killed Knoxville. That other group, they've done killed it. So Fuller's ready to get out. There's been lawsuits, everything. So I stumbled across the news. I knew Barnett bought it for just a little bit, but the newspaper article I found says Bob Polk has bought the promotion from Fuller. And Bob Polk knows that he was off and on Continental, second in command, helped in the office. Bob Polk was a big name in the Continental for Fuller, then USA. Then I think he went back over to Woods. So he's a big promotion guy for the Southeastern territory. Yeah. Now, so I talked to Bo James about this, since he's the guru of East Tennessee wrestling, and he told me that it was Barnett. Bob Polk was just a figurehead, just for public. Which I don't know why. What I didn't know. I guess Barnett didn't want his name out. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then Barnett sells it less than a year to Flair and Mulligan. Dang. I guess after he bought it, he realized, Fuller sold me this because it's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then he pawns it off onto Flair and Mulligan.
And then who worked for them that we talked to, Flair and Mulligan? Golly, who said they worked for Flair and Mulligan there? Anyway, never mind. Keep going. Maybe it was Dirty.
It didn't work out well for them either.
Yeah,
right, Dirty White Boy.
I think it was Dirty White Boy when I talked to him. Yeah,
it didn't work out for. Like I said, because it was, and then I don't know if they sold. I think they sold to somebody, and then finally it went dead for 3 years.
Yeah,
went black, and then was it 85ish or something around there? Ron Fuller comes back in, opens it back up, and gets it back going. But that was weird time period.
You're listening to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling, and we'll be right back after these messages.
CHW is continuing the legacy of historic professional wrestling in Tennessee with monthly events at the Armory in Ashland City. CHW owner Mike Green has made it his mission to present the best pro wrestling shows in the Nashville area, and he has been delivering the goods. CHW Wrestling combines all the elements that Tennessee wrestling fans have come to expect. Action, suspense, athleticism, reality, stories, surprises, and excitement, all delivered by the finest professional wrestlers this state has to offer. Follow CHW Pro Wrestling on Facebook for the latest news, announcements, and show dates. And subscribe to Championship Productions on YouTube to see past events like the Ashland City Rumble and the Valentine's Massacre. Fun for the whole family with delicious and affordable concessions on site. Witness the action and excitement of CHW in Ashland City at the Armory. Family Wars, Love and Hate, Championship Gold. A CHW event is everything you're looking for in a night of live entertainment.
All right, so we're going to go to November 26, 1995. We're going to go to Cookville, Tennessee, the Cookville Community Center. And this is a sad, real sad day. This was the last Smoky Mountain show ever ran.
Man.
Well, and I had the good fortune to be there.
Oh, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, Tracy was in Shelbyville, and as I remember right, I think this was a Friday or Saturday. I can't remember. Might have been Saturday. I'm trying to remember. I can't. My mind's warped. But Tracy told us to come on up, and he didn't know it was the last Smoky Mountain show. Nobody did. So
Right.
So it was me, Steve Bryant, and Randall Fanning is of Randall Fanning's Attic.
World famous.
Yeah. So we hopped in the truck and drove up to Cookville.
Oh.
And which was good because I'm Cookville. That's where all my relatives on my mom's side. My mom is from Cookville, so I was like, yeah, I know how to get there. And it's right down from my grandmother's house, the building. So we went up there, and Tracy said, yeah, just tell them when you get there, you're on my list. You're with me.
Yeah.
So we get up there, and Sandy Scott's working the door.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, and we're like, yeah, we're on Tracy list for Tracy, and he's like, we don't have a list, and he's like, okay. Well, Tracy said we talked to him in Shelbyville, and he said to come on up, and so he's like, I don't know anything about it, and he looked at Randall. Randall had his tripod and his camera recorder and all that. He goes, well, what are you gonna do with that stuff? He said, I'm gonna record the show. He's like, you got Jim's permission from that to do that? And he's like, I record everywhere I go. I said, if he has a problem with it, I won't do it or something like that, But I was like, it's like, when are you gonna get in this place? I was like, is there a way you can get Tracy? And he's like, hold on a minute. And he kept, he's doing the door. So we can sit aside. I was like, we can sit there. And finally he told somebody to go get Tracy. Finally, here comes Tracy up to the front, and he's like, Sandy, let them guys in. And Sandy goes, all right, y'all going in. Or like, he goes, Sandy wasn't gonna let y'all in, was he? He's like, no, he wasn't. It's like, yeah, Sandy Scott was strict, man. He wasn't gonna let nobody in that door that wasn't paying. So yeah, it was so we get in there, and Tracy's like, he's like, won't y'all just sit up, because the community center is the old Cookville High School. Mm-hmm. So they ran in the old auditorium, so you had seats that went down, like a theater, kind of like auditorium seats that go down, then it leveled off, and then you had the old stage. So I think they had ringside on two sides of the ring, then the back side was the chairs went up the slope, and then there was the old stage right on this backside. So we sat up on the stage the whole night, and you could hear with the curtain was right behind us. The dress on the stage behind us, and you could hear, but you couldn't decipher what they were saying, but you could hear people back there talking all night long and everything. Yeah. And so then it was when the show was over. So Tracy comes out, and we're talking to him, and guys are coming by, and he's like, yeah, y'all guys have a good Christmas. Everybody said, yeah, we'll see you at Christmas. Y'all have a good Christmas. And we're like, wow, they're shutting down for Christmas? That's odd. I figured they'd be running Knoxville on Christmas night. That's the biggest night of the year.
Right.
And saying, have a good Christmas. And I was like, that's odd. And then, and didn't think nothing about it. Just, we're on the way back home. We was even brought up. It was like, it's kind of odd if they're not running Christmas night, biggest night to run wrestling. We're just, throwing it around, just talking, just shooting the crap. Didn't really think nothing about it. And then was the next couple of days it come out that they were shut down. They were done. And that he announced, he was so, yeah. So I guess they must have, some people said he told them that night, but I don't think he did, because they were all saying, we'll see you after Christmas.
Man.
Well, I don't think he did. I think he just told them we're taking Christmas off, we're regrouping. We'll come back in January,
Yeah. To kind of keep, and maybe he thought Hope was alive still. Who knows?
Well,
maybe
they said that Tracy even went to him and said that his dad, he worked at a car dealership in Springfield, Tennessee, that they would be interested, in sponsoring some stuff. Yeah. And Cornette, I guess he was just done. He just told Tracy no.
Okay.
So.
Gotcha. Dang. Rest in peace, Smoky Mountain, man. I miss that to this day. Gosh.
Yeah.
That was such a huge, important part of our, fandom. So
absolutely.
That's a cool story, bro. That's a cool story. Very cool.
Does Randall still have that tape? Do we know?
Actually, and here's the thing. He was and this is what's crazy. If Cornette wouldn't have let him tape, there would never been footage of that show because he was the only one there taping. Nobody else taped.
Okay.
And Randall didn't let that out for years. Yeah, he held on to that, and now you see copies out on floating around. The quality is horrible, so you can tell it was dubbed and dubbed and dubbed. But as far as I know, it was up into the 2000s. He still hadn't let it out, from what I remember.
Wow, man.
Yeah. But so if Cornette would have sent word over, no, you can't tape. Yeah, that show would have never And what was another thing I remember at the end, it kind of made me think at least they weren't coming back to Cookville.
Yeah,
because the main event was like everybody on the show had a big 10-man or whatever it was, or 12-man, big thing. And at the end, everybody just killed Cornette, didn't left him alone. Cornette army turned on him, everything, and just let him lay. And I was like, I guess they're done with this town. I didn't know they was going to be done with the promotion.
Yeah.
I said, I forgot they just, they're ending this is probably because it wasn't a good house.
Right. Okay.
It wasn't a good house at all. And I'm thinking, that's my mind was, they're not coming back here, so they're going to give the people that did show up a little something and let the baby faces go out, even the heels and everything, so.
Yeah.
So it was. Yeah, it was just a weird night and weird situation the next couple of days, just the whole thing of, Smoky Mountain gone. They were the last, besides Memphis, they were the only, trying to be territory left,
Right. Yeah. Yep. That's a sad one for sure. We lost a good one when that happened. Absolutely. I really appreciate you sharing that story, brother. That's awesome, man.
I'm glad you let me share it with you.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right, so then we're going to, might as well stick with this because like I said, I don't know the exact date. November 1989, CWF Continental shuts down. David Woods finally puts the nail in the coffin of the Southeastern / Continental promotion.
Daggone.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, and I looked at some of the cards, they still had good talent down there.
Man.
It was still all the crew. Dennis Condrey was down there then. They come back. It was just, business was that,
Mm-hmm. Man.
Territories was leaving. But yeah, so that was, and Continental was so good because it was remind me of Memphis in a way. There's a ton of it out there. So if you don't know anything about Continental or just know a little bit, go find it. I think Armstrong Alley has a ton of it on YouTube. Go check out, man. It is such a good promotion. And it was a sad day because, and I was Dundee booking when it went out. Dundee was the booker right in '89 sometime down there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I don't know if he was down when it shut down, but so you had, that's what I say. It reminds you, it was good stuff, but it's a sad day when, one of the territories died out.
Definitely.
So now we're going to go over to, let's see, November 21st, 1987, and we're going to go to Portland, Oregon.
Oh, yeah.
I've been following some Portland since, we got Nick doing the big Portland extravaganza thing, so I had to find some Portland though in here.
Thank you. It's awesome.
And I love Portland too. So on this day, Art, and I think we've talked about this during one of the weekly segments. I'm sure we have because it's so familiar.
Okay.
Art Barr won a 9-man battle royal to become the first Pacific Northwest TV champion.
Wow. Okay. Nice.
And everybody knows about those legendary 9-man battle royals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a 10, not a 15, not a 20, but a 9-man.
Yeah.
Hey, Portland did its own thing.
Hey, however, made it happen. That's all that matters. Yeah.
So I had to throw that in there for their Portland people.
Nice.
All right. So we got this one right here. This was a really sad day for me. yeah, I don't know the exact date, but in November 1997, the USWA officially shut down.
Yeah.
That's a sad day for Tennessee.
No doubt.
Yeah, it was basically besides Puerto Rico. You know, I mean, he called Puerto Rico territory, but they were in '97. Their business was puh. So
Right.
we call it what it is. To me, this was the last territory.
Yeah, definitely.
So, that was, they were on life support the last few years. They were open, but it was still Memphis wrestling,
Yeah.
So, and growing up on it, I always wanted to work there, but never got to. It's a sad day.
No doubt. Yeah. Did you ever get a chance? I mean, I know some people like Eron and Kroll and people got to go out there and work in Memphis, and Dante and Mephisto and stuff. Did you ever even get the opportunity of a breath through Chris or anything?
No.
Yeah.
Eron had the end because he got trained there.
Right.
Kroll got trained there. He had the end.
Right.
Dante and Mephisto, I mean, they worked, Tommy Higgy worked forever. He worked off and on for them. So, I mean, and they were established. I wasn't established, and.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I wasn't, you know what I mean?
I never tried, okay. When Wolfie and Jamie first started going down there, PG-13, they had a little, I guess, I don't know if they got fired or what. Something happened after their first little run down there. And they, not fired, but they had a night out. I can't remember what it was. I think it was a Saturday night, so it had to be in the fairgrounds. Wasn't running because of the flea market, so they was probably in Jonesboro. They probably wasn't on that card.
Okay.
But anyway, they were in Lewisburg, and I remember talking to them. I said, "Hey, is there any way y'all could talk for somebody, see if I can come down and do a job on TV with y'all, and do a job for y'all on TV?"
Mm-hmm.
And Jamie I remember he goes, look at me, he said, "Man, the truth, no." He goes, "Dude, we're barely hanging on." I said, "Yes, so I can't speak up for anybody right now." So that was when they first run. I guess they were on the outs, and it was coming. Their first run was coming to an end. So,
and it was like your possibly best moment to be able to, but it was a bad moment for your probably best connection, essentially.
Yeah, because Wolfie, Wolfie used to ride. He used to ride with us. He'd come to training, Chris's training, off and on.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked him, good gosh, summer of 92. I think I worked Wolfie every week. He was there on a Thursday or Saturday.
Okay.
In Hohenwald or Shelbyville is their Wolf. I mean, tons of times, me and Mark working him and Mitch Ryder or him and somebody else, so never tell you the story about coming home from training and when Chris was like, "You need to find a first name," and Wolfie was giving me all these, and me and Wolfie's riding back, Wolfie rode back with me by ourselves to Nashville, and I was like, "Man, Chris doesn't want me to come with the name," and Wolfie was throwing out names, and he goes, "Casey Charisma, that's it. That needs to be it." And I went to Chris that Saturday. I was like, "Yeah, Wolfie said I need to go with Casey Charisma," and Chris was like, just pooped out. He's like, "Huh?" I said, "Well, that's Wolfie came up with it. I like it." And he's like, "That's horrible." And then he kept thinking, and by the end of the night he looked up and said, we were at Shoney's. He looked across we always had that back room in Lewisburg at the Shoney's. He looked over, he goes, "Quinton Quarisma." And I was like, "Huh?" He said, "That's your name." I was like, "I'm not Casey." He's like, "No, I told you no." Me and Wolfie went close, but it wasn't like he didn't know me or I'm saying we worked a lot,
right.
He said, rode a few shows together and stuff like that. So he, and I know Jamie because we worked some in Shelbyville, and and that time I was wanting to do something. This before I got my mentality of I'm not going nowhere, so why am I doing something? Mm-hmm. So I was still young and wanting to get on at least to do a job on that TV set. I did,
Yeah, just once. Yeah. Just give me one time.
So I thought that was my only chance, and like I said, they were on the outs. This is before, Wolfie and Randy become, big buddies.
Right.
So they were. So I think would they get fired 2 or 3, 4 times from there?
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons they went to Mexico and then Puerto Rico too. I think.
actually, speaking of the Mexico deal, Wolfie's first match back was against me at Bass School.
There you go.
He came back because Pete was his stepdad, Pete Scorpion, Big Pete Ken. He was the booker for Terry Rice.
Gotcha.
Terry Rice Power Slam.
Okay.
And it's right before they let Pete go as the booker, but Wolfie came back and didn't have a job.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm 99.999% sure I was his first match back in America at Power Slam at Bass School in West Nashville.
Well, I wonder if that made the book.
I doubt that very seriously.
Anyway.
I'm 99.9999% sure my name ain't anywhere in that book, which it shouldn't be. So, but anyway, yeah.
You and me both, brother.
So when I wanted to go do jobs on Memphis TV in the early 90s, it just never worked out. And by 95, I realized I'm not going to get nothing out of this. Why should I keep trying to go down there to do a job for $25? It's not going to help me in the long run because there's nowhere to go.
Right.
There's no more territories. There's no what kind of exposures are going to get me.
Right.
I mean,
yeah,
it'd just be for my glory. And at that time, I was more about dollars than glory, or for myself. You know what I'm saying? If it didn't make sense, if I came out on the negative, I mean, you've had this conversation before about why I stay local so much after being in the business, 4 years, is if I wasn't going anywhere over 2 hours, if I didn't have a profit of after time, gas, food, and when I got back, if all that didn't add up to dollars, if it's in the negative, why go? Because there's no reason to get exposure. And, other states, because what the exposure going to do? Nothing.
Right.
Territories. I mean, it's just for I work, just for your gloating of saying, hey, I worked over in Arkansas. Hey, I worked Illinois. Or, I worked Georgia. But yeah, you made a $7,500, but after driving round trip of 6-7 hours, gas, food, and your time, not just in the ring, but sitting in that dressing room for 2 hours, you add that up, you're making $1.35 an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's nobody at New York or Atlanta watching, you in Hoboken or Bumfuzzle, Georgia,
right,
or Buzzsaw, Alabama, on an indie show drawing 125 people.
Right.
They're not looking in there for you, for anybody down there.
Yeah.
So why am I going in the hole when I'm going to get not one single thing to advance out of?
No, it makes sense.
I've never understood that, why guys did that. Now, there was there were baby faces that could do those long trips and make money off gimmicks.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're a heel, you're not making no gimmick money to make an actual profit of then staying at home an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and you're making only $35, $40, $50, but you're home by 11:30, and you got over half your money still in your pocket because you don't have trans food and times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and people would call. Never mind. I'm not going to say that. I'm just saying people would call that the mark in the reverse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it is. I'm not knocking those guys, but when they knock guys that didn't do that, that's that's my mentality of. And they say, "Oh, you're a 40 miler."
Right.
Yeah, but actually, everything over me was over 40 miles because where I lived at. I lived out in the middle of nowhere, in between Mount Juliet and Lebanon, out in the middle of the country, and it took me forever to get to an interstate. So it was more 40 miles. I mean, but the whole mentality of you're a 40 miler, but I didn't drive halfway across the country for $100
for the same amount that you would make locally. And
you got to say, hey, I'll work this state, that state, but did you actually turn a profit, and did it get you a job somewhere? Oh, it got me a job in the next state over. They heard about me, and guess what? I only got paid $75 there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what? I just never understood that And be like, well, and be like, well, why are you going? They'd say to me, like, you're staying over here. Like, I'd get it because I'd go, like, I want to work for Brian Cheatham. I worked there forever, and I made, $25, $30, sometimes more. Depends on what time period it was. But man, it was only 15 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
I stayed there and then I did the same thing with Tim Scruggs. It was 20 minutes from my house. I mean, I wasn't making like much, but I was home at 10:30 every Saturday night. Still had money in my pocket. Didn't have to eat. Didn't have to put gas in my vehicle.
Yeah.
It just so people and then people knock me. Why do you do? Why not?
Right.
And, I did stay too long in places, but I'm not driving. I hate, and after a while, I got tired. I didn't want to travel because my whole mentality was, we're doing this because we love it, but man, you gotta show some profit.
Yeah, no doubt.
And the main thing is riding in them cars after working. Car riding wears on your body. I don't care what anybody says. So
yeah. No doubt.
I know I just went way off the monthly thing here.
No, that was good. We liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like I said. That was. I think I want to. That's for now. That is my last one because I have lost. Like telling Jerry, my notes are so messed up. I lost a page or two, but that's going to be it for today. On that, we're going to end it on a sad note of the USWA shutting down because
Quinton never got his chance. Daggone it! But
I could have wanted to later on.
Yeah,
especially I got experienced.
Right.
I never got that, but I did get to do the other thing I wanted to do was, like I said, I wanted to work Memphis TV and work the National Sports Arena because that's where I grew up. I was watching, and that's where I used to go as a kid, teenager, to watch the matches. I did get to work the sports arena.
Yeah.
When I worked for Bert and when I worked for Mike Porter.
Yeah.
So I got half of it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I mean, come on, dude. I mean, dude, you got to work in the fairgrounds, so I don't really care. Who cares, man? Even though Max Payne totally dogged it, I can tell you didn't really want to be like, yeah, you're right, Max. Because, I mean...
Well, it was, it wasn't. Now, he was saying about that boys didn't want to go there. Yeah, they didn't want to go there because they want to get a payday. But,
right.
Yeah, it was the best building now. And I got to say, my first night ever there at the sports arena, January 2000, year 2000. I walk in the Hill dressing room. I'm just taking it in, right? First time walking in the building.
Yeah.
First time walking in the building with not having to go through the door paying, right?
Right.
So I'm just taking it all in. I go in the Hill dressing room, and I sit down, put my bag there, man. I'm just looking around. I'm the only one in there. I'm soaking it all in. I'll look down beside my bag. There's a big dead rat, and not the boys kind of rat.
I was gonna ask you, but
and I was thinking,
what's her name? Sorry.
Yeah. And I was just like,
was it George Weingroff correction time?
Yeah, cute. By the way,
I'm a genius.
It wasn't the Weingroff question rat. It was actually, and I was like, wow, that just kind of killed the vibe I was getting. The whole thing I was soaking in was, I'm finally here after 8, 9 years, whatever, how long I've been, 9 years, whatever. And I'm finally at the building I grew up watching wrestling in, and I put my bag down. I was soaking it in. I look and there's a dead rat on the floor.
That is funny. Oh my gosh.
So Max was right in a way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And working Andy's, that was one of the few. That was probably one of the very few buildings that I worked in that wasn't an armory or wasn't a school that actually had a working shower in.
Nice.
So it wasn't that bad. Territory days, it was, it wasn't the best building, but Independent days, that was a great building.
Yeah, Madison Square Garden, right?
Had heat, had air conditioning, had showers. So it had critters running around it, obviously, but it was historic. And for Andy's, that was, I mean, I wrestled in sheds and barns and out in the yard and a parking lot. When we got to the building, they done locked the building up, foreclosed on the building. So we had to wrestle in the parking lot under a street lamp. I mean, so no, that building was, for Andy and me, it was good. Max Payne, not so much.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, this was awesome today, Q. Thank you so much.
Good job,
I
brother.
definitely appreciate it, brother. Very good one.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Let me do it. Like I said, I wish I might have bored some people with stuff, and I know I had a couple more pages of stuff. I got to come up with a better system because I'm losing stuff. So
no problem.
There's tons more out there for people. You just go around and go look up all the Fuller history of Knoxville and all that, because that whole thing is from start to end is really interesting. How everything, how it came about and how it ended. It's all out there. Go listen to his podcast. I know I don't usually plug other people's podcasts, but to get the story from him, and it's amazing, the history of how that started and how it ended. And this has been
This Month in Wrestling History with Quinton Quarisma.
All right, that was the one and only Quinton Quarisma with This Month in Wrestling History, Part 5, covering November. We'll be right back to wrap things up with Sheik and Quinton after these messages on Gimme Back My Pro Wrestling.
Hi, this is Mike Needham, host of the Reckless Abandon podcast with Mike Needham. We invite you to jump on your favorite podcast platform and search for the Reckless Abandon podcast and give us a listen. I'm sometimes joined by a part-time podcaster, part-time co-host, and full-time wife, Tiffany Nicole. We talk wrestling, we talk pop culture, we talk local events, local happenings in West Tennessee, and a ton of other stuff. But be sure to check out the Reckless Abandon podcast. Find us on Facebook. Also, look up the Microgroup Podcasting family on Facebook and see some of our other podcasts we have out there. Until next time, make good choices and always remember, no dollar, no dice.
Relive the glory days of Memphis wrestling with the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast. Each week, we go back in time to review USWA Championship Wrestling from the 1990s, episode by episode. Join us for watch-alongs, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive interviews with people who were there and lived it. Whether you grew up watching it or you're discovering it for the first time, this podcast is your ringside seat to Memphis wrestling history. It's all a part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. Listen now at USWApodcast.com.
Oh, Sheik and Quinton, another excellent This Month in Wrestling History. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
What'd you think of that, Sheik?
I thought it was great, man. He always does top-notch work on that. I know it's a passion, so it's easy for him, but it's always great and very informative.
Yeah. Well, guys, we also have a lot of cool stuff coming up, but I just want to say this. Next week, we're going to treat this like a holiday week because it is. It's Thanksgiving. So next week, there isn't going to be a show. We're going to take the week off and spend it with our families, mainly because it's Thanksgiving, but also because we want to wish a very happy birthday to Quinton Quarisma. Because your birthday is on the 26th. So that's going to be another special reason to not do it.
How about somebody's birthday on the 28th?
Okay. Well, you're talking about Jerry Lawler and Dutch on the 29th, right?
No.
Shut up.
my brother from the same father and mother.
Hey, that's my line.
Jimmy Street.
Yeah.
Going to be older on the 28th.
Older, 47. But anyway, so yeah, it's a big week for the show. Plus, it's a holiday week. So we're going to take the week off and spend it with our family. And I recommend everybody, reach out and try to be with your family next week if you can. But we just gratefully thank you all so much for being with us this whole year. We're extremely thankful for everything you all have done for us and supporting us. So greatly appreciate it. We hope you y'all have a great one as well. To find out what's coming up next, follow us on @GMBMPW on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X. Guys, y'all have a happy Thanksgiving. Can't wait to get back together and do this again. But do y'all have anything before we go?
No, brother, I'm good.
What about you, Q?
Yeah, I want everybody to keep Little Farmer John, Roger, in your prayers. He's not doing very well at all. He's having some severe health problems. He's in a nursing home up here in Bowling Green, Kentucky. So if you can, just keep him in your prayers, man, because he's a good dude.
Yeah, definitely. We like Roger a lot. Little Farmer John's episode's one of my favorites of all time as far as the interview that we've had. So y'all keep Roger in your prayers for sure. We definitely appreciate him. And yeah, thanks, Q, for bringing that up.
Yeah,
no problem. And go buy a shirt.
That's right. Nothing will be better for Christmas than a nice Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling t-shirt. Coming soon on a new site. Just keep your eyes peeled on @GMBMPW. But thank you all so much once again for listening. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll see y'all next time on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
Don't forget.
Who is it really? You say that one more time. It is you, you little jerk. What? Wait, what did you do? You call up to gloat about us losing the titles now or what? Huh? You little jerk. All right, I'll tell you what, the same thing that I've always told you goes ever since you started this whole thing in the first place. Anytime you want to show up, brother, we'll take you head on. We ain't scared of you. You're a jerk and those two are geeks. Okay, well, yeah, anytime, like I made the offer to you before, anytime you want to show up, we'll settle a thing once and for all. In the meantime, you know what this sounds like? Listen. There.
Who was that? Who was that?
Who was it?
Well, when they asked for Jim Cornette, it was an irate voice on who was that?
I ain't going to tell you who it was. It don't matter a bit who it was. But Jesus Christ! Jesus.
Wait a minute. There's Dennis Condrey. That's that other guy, I think's Randy Rose, or Condrey used to be with there's Paul E. Dangerously. They don't even wrestle here. They don't even wrestle. They're not a part of the NWA at all. And they have hit the ring. Oh, the phone on the forehead of Cornette. He just nailed him right in the face with that portable phone. These guys don't even wrestle here. Dennis Condrey used to be in the Midnight Express. And they go with a phone on the head of Sweet Stan. Cornette's busted open. Jimmy Cornette has been busted open. Cornette is bleeding. He can't even stand up. Bobby Eaton, they're working on his leg. They're double teaming Stan. Good Lord, look at Cornette. Oh my God. He hit him right in the face with that telephone and it busted him from ear to ear. And now Cornette's been brought back in the ring. Somebody needs to get in here and stop this. Cornette is not a wrestler, and he's being held up at the mercy of Paul E. Dangerously, Randy Rose, Dennis Condrey, men that we know call themselves the original Midnight Express. And they have literally burst on the scene here at the Superstation, and it is nothing but carnage in the ring. Unprovoked attack, and Cornette has been, this is brutality here, and the Rose and Condrey and Paul E. Dangerously. We got to get...
With a tear in my eye, this is the greatest moment in my life.
We'll see you next week. And until then, so long for now.
This has been a James Rock Street production.